This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we are the ones who have decided to go ahead and encourage you to like and share them on social media and with all your friends, because it's all about caring. The science of caring. Presented by Carebag. It's time for Careology. This week's guest host, the one, the only, Mighty Mike James.
Wow. I like that introduction. How much does it cost to record that introduction?
Well, I could do one of those like a soccer announcer, you know.
Mighty Mike! Goal!
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Carebag's Careology. This is Mighty Michael, and I am so excited about being here tonight because Roxy, and I should have recorded it, Cliff, where Roxy told me
What'd she say?
that I could talk about anything I wanted to talk about.
Roxy said you can talk about anything you want?
Then I thought about it.
Well, you know she does trust you, yes.
Yeah. So I want to keep her trust.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be careful about what I talk
Be
about tonight.
careful what you say about Careology and Carebag.
Yes.
Oh.
You got that?
Yeah, you know
got
we
that.
we really need some backpacks. We're short of backpacks.
You going back to school?
Well, no, I'm not, but we're going to make sure that some kids go back to school with big smiles on their faces with everything they need, backpacks and school supplies being collected now for the big event coming up later this month.
Yes, very, very soon. We need to know from everybody that when kids are going back to school, and I was asking you earlier about you going back to school and what it took for us to go back to school.
Oh, my.
You know, I got a couple number 2 pencils, and I got some paper, and basically that was kind of it. But now that we've advanced to the level that we're at, going back to school is a tremendous event. So what we're doing is now we're asking people, those our listeners and people who care about Careology and Carebag, to support this great event, because our kids need to know every day, one way or another, that going to school is important.
Yep.
It's going to bring them great things later in life.
Sure
and,
will.
And that education is the key.
Yeah.
So I feel that we all should support Careology, Carebag, and support what Roxy is doing. And Roxy, again, thank you very much for this opportunity to show up here and Careology and hang out with my good friend Cliff and talk about things that are going on in this world. And I'm not going to go into all that dangerous stuff.
No, it's important. The science of caring is quite important.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, the more we can focus on the caring part,
Right.
the whole better off the whole world. I mean, this could be not just a life-changing situation, but Careology is a life thing. I mean, that's your goal in life is, of course, to care.
We're supposed to care. I know we talked about the
yeah.
golden rules and, do unto others. You have them do unto you. And
Do
things
unto
like
others
that.
before one does one other thing
See?
to you first.
Yeah,
No,
that's
no.
why you're down at the principal's office so much. Okay.
The dunce cap,
But
yes.
Careology is about the life and the science and everything
Yeah.
about caring for one another.
That's all we need to do. That's all. Just care.
It has been noted by doctors all over the world that there's something about the human touch and about caring about somebody that helps people get to the next level. So caring about someone, that is a great thing to do, and it's often not seen as a responsibility because, well, they're having a problem. They take care of their own problems. I'll take care of mine. But caring about somebody, that is one of the richest things that you could ever do for someone.
Somebody else that has a problem and you can help. And well, Carebag does a wonderful thing with personal sanitation products.
Right.
For these folks. Bars of soap, toothpaste, toothbrushes, everything, including, if necessary, even diapers.
Yes. Yeah. And I work with the great people at the Gifford Youth Achievement Center, and many times Roxy has been there. She comes and sets up her tent, brings out her van, hauls all this stuff out and starts giving it away to many of the senior citizens and people that live in the Gifford area. And what she does is, without charging, is making a difference.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're able to make a difference, and Roxy has done that for as long as I've known her, when you're able to make a difference, it gives people an idea that all is not lost.
That's right. And it also gives them a great excuse to exercise self-esteem.
There you go. Feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
And which brings me to what I was going to kind of talk about today, plus a few other things. But first of all, I want to again say thank you to Roxy, and thank you for allowing me to take over your show for just a few Tuesdays here and there. She's been so busy. She needs a few Tuesdays off.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'll be here for the next 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there 5 Tuesdays this month, or
Ooh,
4 Tuesdays? You got to count those out.
I need to look at a calendar.
But I'll be here Tuesday on Carebag, Careology, and thank you very much, Roxy, and you deserve some time off.
And you know he's going to do it right because he doesn't want to wake the mama bear.
I don't want to get in trouble. And speaking of a couple of events, Roxy wanted me to say to everyone that participated in the event with the Cleveland Clinic and the Community Health Fair, it was fabulous. And then they had the free haircuts, and they had back to school for kids from 1 to 15 years old. And I took a note. What did I do with my note? Because I need to read this. She said they had over 150 haircuts, and they had about 400 people show up. And so she wants to thank all of the sponsors and everyone that's involved, from Children's Services Family, of course, Boys and Girls Club, and A&G Pools, and thanks 2 Men and a Truck. And the whole community came together for her events, and we thank very much. And we want to thank I got a chance to interview the pastor here last time I was here, the Treasure Coast Church of God at Seventh Day. Congratulations to them for helping out on Sunday, July 31st, as they had a special community health event. Helping people should make people happy. Helping people should make people happy.
It's better to give than it is to receive.
Yes, sir.
Because it feels real good when you give.
It does.
It does. It gives you a special feeling about that you should be proud of yourself.
And especially when things there's that ripple effect. Yeah. You help somebody comes to you and say, "I remember a few days or months or weeks or years ago that you helped me. Now I'm here to help you." And that's like a lot of the young people that go to school here in the Treasure Coast, get their education. They go off to college and they get their degrees, and then they come back. And they help the different doctors and lawyers and ministers and people who have gone off to see what the world is all about, have come back in order to make this community a better place. And so for all of us here on the Treasure Coast, we thank you very, very much for that. And being happy is one great thing that you should do. And Cliff, whether you know it or not, you get to choose to be happy.
Yes, you can. You can choose.
You can choose it.
In spite of circumstances.
When we think about it, we were here watching the news before the show and seeing what was going on in this world. We could spend days and days and days talking about all those incredible things that are happening and all the things that are causing us either to be angry or causing us to look at life and not look at life with clear view. We just get upset and angry about things. Or we can choose not to let that make us feel a certain way. And so tonight, I just wanted to ask the question. I'm glad Cliff's here because Cliff is my friend, somebody I've known for quite a while, about happiness.
Oh,
those things that make you happy. Because people are choosing, and I'm sure you've met a few people choose not to be happy.
Yes, they do. In fact, some of them take quite a delight in their being miserable.
Yeah, and misery loves company.
The attention's great.
They're unhappy, so they want you to be unhappy.
Let's have a pity party at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, see, that's a pity party.
But when we deal with things like that Careology and Carebag do, when they go out here into the community, bringing
like when you realize somebody's actually caring,
yeah. Makes a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
And I know there's a lot of despair because of things going on, and then also want to say, send our hearts and minds out to what's going on in Kentucky.
Oh yeah,
that is incredible.
Nasty water.
And there's things that happen. We have hurricanes here. They've had flooding and people have perished, and so we're trusting that our government will be doing the right thing daily.
At least hopeful, extremely hopeful.
Yeah, because we know what it's like here on the Treasure Coast, having to go through some devastating circumstances.
We had some wildfires in Port St. Lucie a while back.
I want to remember what year that was, that half of Florida was on fire.
Wow.
But what happens is when there are destitute times, the real people show up.
Yep, they sure
and
do.
We're dealing with the pandemic, and we're dealing with all the things that are going on with the monkeypox and all of that. But there are some great people who are they're in the trenches, they're filling in the gaps, they're doing what they do, and along comes Careology and says, all right, why don't you come join us and partner with us so that we can help people. This is not who brought the most money or who has the biggest stick to swing. It's what all of us really, really need to do.
And when we're all in one accord and have the same thing in mind, we can get a lot more done, that's for sure.
Right. It's not about who's going to get the credit. And I'm many times when I've talked with Roxy and seen her out there, she's doing what she can do, not so people can say, ooh, look at what Roxy's doing, because there is a need out there, and she's just doing all she can to help fill that need.
She's leading others to do the same thing. They see her, and they see how happy she is because she's getting to do what she gets to do.
Yeah. I've been living in this community since 1993.
Wow.
And Fort Pierce, or this area that we live in, has so many resources.
Okay, yeah.
Many people, like I said, who have born and raised here in Fort Pierce, they go out and do what they do, and they come back and they live here. But they bring back such a world-renowned attitude to Fort Pierce. And I look at the different people that have lived here, famous folks, not so famous folks, and then there's Cliff and I. That
somewhere between famous and not so famous.
Not so famous. But I see it as our responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
As a community.
Sure.
Because there are going to be some people who come up short. There's going to be some people who do not quite have everything that they need. But imagine if everyone, you just said it, everyone in this whole world decided, I'm going to give a little bit more, and then I'm going to take a little bit less. Just that measure, what this world can fabulously do.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who are trying to take as much as they can and then some. And then there are people who are they don't have the ability, they don't have the resources to bring themselves to another level. And so being happy, let's choose that. Let's choose being happy.
Choose happiness.
I feel a song coming on. Don't worry.
You're right.
Be happy. So. But what happens in the lives of so many people is that they take a chance at something, and it might not go the way that they want it to go, so they don't take that chance again.
Well, that's not a great excuse for not taking a chance, because what if it worked out great?
Yeah.
That's the if part you've got to consider. That's the part that's going to keep you hanging on to continuing to push forward with all this.
Well, we find a lot of people who, how can I say this? I want to make sure I'm saying this properly. The way that you are raised reflects what you do into the future. And I see where a lot of people, that stick-to-itiveness, that rah-rah, go-get-it kind of thing, it's less. But the way that people living now is that they expect you to just give it to me. Here, I don't have to work that hard. Give it to me. I was watching a comedian last night on television, and he was talking about the participation trophies.
And nobody smacked him.
And not that I know of.
Oh, okay.
But the whole idea is I don't have to work as hard. Oh. And just think of all the people and I know the pandemic was terrible. I mean, just incredibly terrible. People quitting their jobs, people just staying home. I don't want to work anymore. I've got a whole new attitude, and I'm just going to sit here and wait for somebody to come along and bring and give and what. But I was raised by some workaholics. I was raised by hard-working people.
I was encouraged strongly to work.
How strong?
When your mom and dad says, You see that road out there? I want you to hit it. Hit that road.
and
Straighten up and get a
we
job.
find that
Remember
there are a
that
lot
line.
of people who have not that work ethic. And this is not complaining. This is just talking about what is viewed out there in this world and how much better we could find ourselves if we see where people say, okay, there's a hole here and I can fill that hole. There's a person that's in need. I got more than I'll ever need. So let me just help fill this hole, as opposed to saying, I got more than I'll ever need, and I'm going to try to get some more. And so we encourage people. Careology is the science of caring, looking at a circumstance, and if you have the wherewithal, you have the brain power, the resources,
And
to
the
jump right
ability
in
to encourage others to care
to
as
do
well.
to do much the same. And when you look around and you see that, well, people are in need. Let's just go basic needs. People need food. People need shelter. We have an incredible. Did you know that the United States has the largest homeless population in the world
Yeah, that's amazing.
per capita?
I was thinking that maybe great places like Calcutta would have more.
No.
But no, the
United States
USA.
of America, per capita percentage, we have the largest homeless population.
That's nothing to be bragging about. That's something that we could be ashamed of.
And we have the most hungry people.
Uh-oh. Now you're getting everybody.
And I'm not talking about
Hunger
hungry
pains.
like, well, I got 15 different restaurants to choose from. Those that don't know where their next meal is coming from.
Fine dining as opposed to unfine dining.
Unfine dining. Yeah, we discussed that
That's
too.
what it was. Yeah, we was discussing.
Fine dinings and fine diners.
So, what makes it fine dining? Is it the diners? Is it what they wear? Is it what they eat? Is it the food?
It's probably how they hold their pinky, when they're sipping.
What's that little tiny stirring straw that they put in the drinks? The swizzle stick. or
the
whatever.
swizzle stick and all of that.
They hold it quite fancy schmancy.
But
with a
as
little
far
finger.
as being happy,
Yeah.
here's what I learned. I retired from working full time about 5 years ago, and some of the first things I was thinking about was how to sustain whatever level I was living at. And I said, okay. I started calculating. I was blessed because I have more money in the bank now than I did when I had 2 full-time jobs and chasing and running and all of, radio, and I was a school teacher and I was a truck driver. I was all these things. But I took a chance and I said, I need to let go of some of this stuff because crazy, working every day, all day, here and there, ripping and running. You get home just in time to hit the pillow just a moment. You got to jump up and you got to go do this other thing. And this rat race, this maze that we find ourselves in, that is encouraged by our society. Go get it. And you wind up looking back and you say, man, all those years went by.
All that running, and we're all still rats.
Yeah, still the same place, basically. So the reason I say that is because I've run into so many people and talked with so many people who are discouraged about their position. And people are, like I said, they're on that maze. They're running. They're chasing. They see what their neighbors have. I got to go get that too. They see, I got to get it. I know people, if they don't get a new car every year, they are depressed. And they feel like that is what the American dream really is all about. Is about being on that maze and trying to make
Keeping
it
up
happen.
with the Joneses. The guy next door cuts his grass, so I got to cut my grass because I'll look bad if I don't cut my grass.
If I don't cut my grass. And if he has a riding lawnmower, you can't be out there with a push mower. You can't be out there. You got to get
You
yourself.
can, but it's much more humiliating.
You got to get a riding lawnmower also.
We have to get over ourselves, I think, is the biggest problem.
Well, which brings me to another thing. Again, let me say thank you very much, Roxy. Appreciate this opportunity to come in and just talk on your radio
We're not
show.
on the edge yet.
Yeah, my phone's not ringing, and I don't see anything coming through, ding, 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 yet. But I want to thank her. The Careology is all about the science of caring and going to make sure that other people are receiving the benefit of your life, the benefit of you, the efforts that you make. Because really, being happy, for me, Being happy for me is knowing that I helped somebody else.
Well, isn't that nice? You know what? I think you deserve a phone call. You got a phone call.
I got a phone call?
So there's a random anonymous person on the phone who wants to say hello.
Okay, let's see who this person is. Hello, how you doing? And welcome to Careology.
Hi, Mike. Well, thank you for having me. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just fine, thank you, dear. This is the one, the only, the incredible, the vivacious, stupendous, tremendous, one-of-a-kind Roxy. Good evening. How you doing, dear?
I'm doing good. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in and just say we got to stop watching everybody and just do for ourselves. Those aren't working and are looking at the Joneses. Get up, get a job. But I just want to say thank you, guys. Thank you for coming on. And just thank you, personally thank you. Even though I'm on vacation, just wanted to put it out there. Thank everyone that supported our events. It was incredible, and enough love out to everyone. Love and respect, and I'm just so humbled that we have this platform and opportunity that we can help each other and we can help Carebag. So I just wanted to put it out there and just say you guys have a tremendous, wonderful show, and I will be listening to you, and we will talk.
Well, thank you very much, Roxy. Appreciate it very much. Bless you, and you be safe in your travels, and we'll be thinking about you too.
That's right, and I will be listening.
Okay, dear. That's our fearless leader. That's the greatest. That's the great one. We call her Roxy.
The great one, yes. Thank you, Roxy. Oh, wow.
And that is what it's about. It's about Cliff. It's about Mike. It's about Roxy. It's about the things that we do, because there is always going to be that ripple effect. And there's always, whether you know it or not, people watch what you do. Because people are either looking for an excuse to do what you do, they look for an excuse so they can do what they would like to do, because they're looking, oh, well, if Cliff did that, then maybe I can do that. If Mike did that. Hopefully this is in a good way when people are watching the things that we say and do. I mean, you've been on the radio for quite a while, young man, right?
An awful long time,
yeah.
I'd say. Much longer than I thought I'd be on.
That's
I'm
two
still
of us.
here.
I just celebrated, the month of August is the month that I started radio.
That's my month, too.
Really?
The 15th of August.
Okay, mine was like the 8th, 9th of August.
Well,
and I started it down in Palm Beach County.
I marked mine. Of course, I got the job the same day that my FCC radio telephone radio license. Remember the free one?
Yeah, you had to go and sign up for it.
Then it became $35. The free became $35 over the years, but still. People are still getting them, I guess, and I've still got mine somewhere.
It's in all of those boxes and things, but I'm celebrating 45 years.
45, wow. It'll be 40. It'll be 43 for me.
Okay.
Because it was 79, strictly 1979.
Let me ask you, why are you in this job? Why did you get into radio?
Well, I auditioned for a radio job and came in second place. I was notified that if the guy couldn't take the job, that I was going to get hired. And I thought, wait a minute. If I can get a job, if I can come in second in a contest to get a job at the time #1 radio station in the whole Treasure Coast area, well, I should be able to get a job in radio. So I just started knocking on doors, and I had a pretty good time because the timing was right. You know, you show up at a radio station with 2 bags of groceries while everybody's camping out in the halls in sleeping bags because there's a hurricane bearing down on us. It was Hurricane David.
Yeah.
We were the only radio station around. We had a generator back there, a diesel-powered generator, and it smelled like a semi-tractor trailer cooking back there, but by golly, it kept us on the air. And since I showed up at the radio station during a hurricane with groceries, they thought that it'd be real cool if I went on out. They gave me a tape recorder, and they said, go on down to the shelter where they sent people home from the beaches, and they had to be evacuated. Get their opinions on being evacuated for the storm. So I went down to, it's now the magnet school. It was Fort Pierce Elementary School at the time.
Yes, sir.
And in the underground cafeteria down in there was a bunch of people, and they had little cots and everything. And I just started talking to them and rolling the tape and put a nice little report together. When I got back to the station, they put it together, and they gave it a lead-in and everything. And, you know, and on the scene at the shelter is just correspondent Cliff Desmond. Correspondent Cliff Desmond. Wow. I thought that had a ring to it. I thought, wow, that's cool. And the rest is all Just history.
Just
yeah.
history.
Just history.
Just history. But is that something that makes you happy?
Well, yeah. Well, fond memories does things like that.
A lot of the things that make people happy are the things that are unintended, not the ones that are intended. You may and not trying to discourage people from not going out and doing what they're supposed to do. But
right.
every once in a while, that little right turn or that little left turn, you find you discover these things. Because I taught school. I was a school teacher.
Oh, yeah.
And got into radio and tried to do both and finally had to decide it was radio. And that was not something that I ran off to be trained about, but it is something that gives me a lot of joy to be able to communicate with people, being able to be in certain situations, to visit other radio stations. And being in radio, it's a great kinship of all kinds of people. People who are rookies, people who are been in radio for a long, long time, but it's all about being happy about the things that you do.
If you like what you do, it's not work.
No, it's not.
Because people say things to me like, "Oh, you've got it easy. All you've got to do is sit in front of a microphone all day." No, that's not true. I don't have to sit in front of a microphone all day. Sometimes I have to run from studio to studio, troubleshooting what the heck's going on in here. There's something weird happening. Got to figure it out. Got to get that noise off the air. Got to straighten something out somewhere. Or we've got production to do. We go back to the production room where we cut commercials and things like that, and produce the things that we all hear every day, like the weather forecast and all that. Nobody has any idea. That stuff has to be done by somebody. It takes. That's what I was once told. Everything's going to go all totally computers, and all your jobs are going to be taken over by computers. And I thought, well, they're going to need somebody to run the computers.
Who's going to plug the computer in?
Yeah, who's going to reboot them things?
This is AM 1590. This is.
Did we miss a break?
Yes, we did. And that's where I'm going now. WPSL Digital 1590. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more. This is Careology. We thank you for being with us.
Why call Two Men in a Truck of the Treasure Coast? You want to move your business without moving a single meeting? You want it handled with no fuss. Lots of stuff, no time to move it. You need the pros that care. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck of the Treasure Coast. Family owned and operated franchise. Call 772-236-0827. 772-236-0827. Movers who care. Visit Two Men in a Truck, treasurecoast.com. Thinking of building your next home or renovating? Come see us at Grozer Builders. We will create a home suited for your lifestyle. With years of experience means we give you a complete professional service from a dream to a concept. You will get the best results, best value, best quality is what you get from Grozer Builders. Visit us at grozerbuilders.com. You deserve better. You deserve Grozer. Create custom business signage that customers can't miss or resist. Let Design a Sign in Port St. Lucie help you get the job done right. Over 80 years combined experience. Get it right the first time. Call 772-337-4027 and tell them Roxy said to call. Remember, call 772-337-4020. Design a Sign in Port St. Lucie. This is Roxy, your host on Careology. Got blinds, need windows? Are your shop and home window treatment specialist. 30 years of experience. I'm happy to say I am a customer, and I could not be happier with how my windows look. Professional, on time, and knowledgeable. Do not call anyone else. Take the guesswork out of your window treatment. Call Renee at 772-485-1314 and get it done right the first time. Remember, call 772-485-1314. Got blinds, need windows.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
We now return to Careology, the science of caring, with our special guest host tonight, the one and only Mighty Mike.
Oh, okay. You must be Mr. Buffer's cousin. You know that. 'Cause
Mr.
you got that. You've got that thing.
Oh.
But good evening to you and welcome. And the half of the show is already over, and we are into talking about mindsets, talking about being happy. Those things that make you happy. Like I said, I taught school for 10 years, and that made me happy. But I didn't know that I had a penchant for radio, and so now. Everything about radio I love. I love sitting here in the studio. I like looking at studios, all the electronics and everything that goes with it.
We love being on the inside of the radio looking out.
And there's the guy that's on Facebook, and all he does is travel the country taking pictures of radio studios. He's not. You've seen this guy, and top of buildings, hanging out of trees, and all kinds of things.
Ever seen the ones that get up on top of the towers and they stand there with a selfie stick?
Yep.
And oh my goodness.
Move to the left just a little bit. We get that signal properly.
Watch that first step. It's a doozy.
Yeah. Everything's fine till you hit the ground.
Yeah.
But we're talking tonight about being happy. Those things that hopefully you're going to be inspired to pursue. With some people, of course, it's going back to school, all that knowledge. Some people is, taking like Roxy. Roxy had to take a vacation. She had to take one. She has been full bore for as long as I've known her, and she needs some time just to recuperate and resuscitate.
And everybody needs that once in a great while.
Yes, everybody should do that.
I found out the hard way because I wouldn't take any holidays off.
Why not?
And I just thought it was more important to do what folks were expecting me to be there doing every day. So I would not take holidays off. And then I found out that some holidays people don't even want to call a show on a holiday. They want the day off too.
So what happens to you after you've not taken all these holidays? You're working every day, and you.
Well, I marked the big ones. At the end of the year, those holidays. I make it a point to take those days off.
Mm-hmm.
I also take a number of some of the other holidays off, like the 4th of July, stuff like that.
Take some time.
Yeah, take a little time. Nothing wrong with a little time. You can always use that time productively for something. It doesn't matter who you are or who you think you are or who you think you aren't. You still have that opportunity to.
While we're out here in this world, Cliff, and we're doing whatever it is that we do.
Yeah.
We chase the American dream. We have these fixtures as to what it is. We have other people that tell us what's going to make us happy. Other people say, if you hit this mark, you're going to be happy. If you have this much money, if you know these people, if you live in this city.
Promises. Yeah,
and
sure.
a lot of that stuff is, I'm going way back, a lot of that stuff is hokey pokey.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff it's not really true because I don't know everybody. Now, if someone asks me a question and say, well, what makes me happy? I'll be able to give them an answer. Here's the things that I did. Here's what's made me happy. But for me to sit back with all of my education and say, well, Cliff, this is what's going to make you happy. Too many people jump in on that. I know you need counseling from time to time. You need to talk to people. But sometimes you gotta go find that thing for yourself.
And sometimes you have to just tell everybody, shut up, I can figure this out myself.
Yeah, let me have some space.
Because you probably can. You could probably figure it out yourself. But you have to stop and you have to think.
Yeah, but you know what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And sometimes many times what's making you happy is not making me happy, but we're supposed to be happy. And we should celebrate each person's happiness.
When we're sad because we miss a loved one that's passed,
right?
What do?
Mm-hmm.
We conjure up the best memories ever of those people. And what does it do for us? Wow, it does a lot for us. And
gives you some more strength to work on.
And if you treat your enemies as if you loved them and you actually truly did forgive them, strange things happen. And you get even without even trying because things work out for you because all you got to do is, it just sounds crazy, forgive and forget.
Mm-hmm.
I can't forget what they did to me. Well, they only did it to me. Not everybody else, was just me. Play it down a little bit, and then you can build yourself up, and you'll come out brighter and shinier than what the situation was.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about careology, the science
the
of
science
caring,
and
and
the
actually there is a science to it
Yeah.
because many people are carrying these grudges and harboring all this ill will.
Yep.
And what does that do for your heart?
It prevents a lot of,
What
bliss.
does that do for your respiratory system?
Oh, yeah. It adds to, health problems. Ooh.
And when they're and I'm sad to say that it's not, and it's not the guns, it's not the drugs, it's not the alcohol that is taking most people out. It's those heart ailments, those respiratory ailments that they have, things that they really could have prevented.
Who were the most vulnerable during the COVID situation? Those who already had respiratory problems.
Right.
They'd get COVID and they'd wind up passing in a hospital on a ventilator. And, there was way too much of that going on. We had to do something. And when we did, well, everybody got right on the bandwagon with the mask thing, and that's great. It's wonderful. It worked, But on the other side of COVID, after COVID, pre-COVID, after COVID, once you're through with COVID, once you've had it, well, you've got an immune system that has picked up on it and helped fight it off.
Right.
If you survived it,
Mm-hmm.
you probably won't catch it again. And if you do, it'll just be a couple of symptoms.
Yeah, but see, all of that has now become political, and I
It's become
definitely
so
don't want to get into
political.
all of that.
I know, isn't that
But
wild?
but it just seems weird, strange, unusual that yes, this is going to cause you stress.
Yeah.
We don't want to get rid of it. We're going to cause you some more stress, and we're going to keep putting this stuff out there, and no one wants to agree. No one wants to see the other person's the other side.
And when somebody's stressing, there's somebody else there benefiting from it.
Yeah,
You know.
you could start
All the money.
a range war
Yeah.
just talking about a pencil
Yeah.
because
Oh,
someone disagrees. It's not a pencil; it's a writing utensil. No,
Yeah.
it's a pencil.
But
I
writing
use number 2
utensil
pencil.
rhymes with pencil, so that shows an education.
I use number 2. Well, I use number 3. I use and you don't sharpen pencils that way. You do this, and next thing you know, you've got a range war. People are just going crazy nuts because there is a slight disagreement, and we don't know how to handle it.
Tribalism is what Rudy calls it.
We don't know how to handle it
When
anymore.
people they want to be with everybody who wants to think like they do. If everybody was to think alike, in sincerity, if people were to sincerely get together on their thinking, that's a
Right.
lot of power right there, a lot of energy that can get some stuff done. But that's the problem is the division that has become a big part of everything. The division is what makes the politics no fun,
Mm-hmm.
and
Definitely.
and it makes the no fun part of it all no fun. So we have to care enough to try to bring things up a little bit, kind of lift up the spirits of everybody around you if you can somehow. I mean, don't try to become a comedian. Don't follow them around telling them jokes and annoying them,
Right.
You know where that goes.
But you did say something interesting in that, there are a vast amount of people who on purpose don't want to be happy.
Right. They take great pride
On purpose.
on purpose. Wow.
Being unhappy causes your body not to function properly.
Wow.
And it's a choice. It's not that, like I said, it's not that I have a Rolls Royce falling out of the sky, big houses and
You
all
don't?
that.
Oh.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Oh,
I'm
oh.
still driving my soccer mom van. But the whole idea of being able to gather oneself and say, I have value, my family loves me, I had a great time. I can go out walking, ride my bike, exercising. It doesn't have to be these huge things that the world says that you need in order for you to be happy. If you don't have a certain amount of money, if you don't have a certain job, if you're not friends and privy to this certain thing that's going on, then people start bullying you into thinking that you don't have the value. And you really do.
Wow. Yeah, we do, folks. Everybody does. Yes, you do too.
Everybody matters.
If you don't think so.
Everybody matters.
Yeah, and that's not a political statement.
No.
Like when G leaves in the morning, when he finishes up the morning show, he makes a statement
Mm-hmm.
about the following show, the show that follows the morning show. And somebody called me up one day and they said, "Why do you let him say things like that about you?" And I go, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" He said, there's only one effing Cliff. And I said, that's a name spelling notation, not a political statement.
And everybody wants to make a point.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't have to, but this world is increasingly it's almost like we're all on roller skates and we don't know how to skate anymore.
That's it.
And we're just sliding through and
like
tripping
that.
and falling, things like that, when we really don't have to.
And we're
Go
in
down-
denial. I did not fall down.
No, you saw me hit the ground, but I did not fall down. That starts a whole nother argument. Again, good evening to you. We're running out of time as always, but this is Careology, and it's being brought to you by some great sponsors. And Cliff, you have that list of sponsors, and I appreciate if you would read them off. But these are people who care about Careology, and Careology cares about you, and it's the science of caring for one another. And Cliff?
Gut blinds need windows. Design a sign. Kicking It United. I believe that's an event we got going. All Roads Truck Repair. If you're on the road and your truck breaks down, you ever drive a truck?
Yes.
You ever break down and wait?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll tell you where. Ogallala,
Yeah.
Nebraska.
You ever been out to Lakeland? All those steep hills?
No.
Oh, because I was coming back one of those. I was going to just slide across Highway 60 over to Vero and then head south here to Fort Pierce, get home.
And what happened?
Well, the truck died before I hit the bottom of the hill, and it barely rolled to the bottom of the hill, just from the weight of it. But I parked it. I made my phone call, and then I waited for about the next 6 hours. It took 6 hours for the guy to come on over. But hey, Lexus of the Treasure Coast, Toyota, 2 men in a truck, Groza, Dignity, All Roads Truck Repair, Kicking It United is one of the events. Design a sign, got blinds need windows, and don't forget the back to school thing. Oh, and don't forget Careology is not only on every Tuesday night in the 6 p.m. hour. Archives of this show are on YouTube.
There you go.
And all you got to do to get there, we've got a special domain name that we pointed to our YouTube presence. All you need to do to get to us on YouTube is type in www.wpsltv.com. That takes you directly to our YouTube presence. And then click videos and see the thousands of videos that we've provided for you on YouTube.
Wow.
Not bad.
All that technology.
Yeah, all this technology, it's changed so much over the years. And the advent of the computer, good grief. I'll never forget, when you're learning the computer, of course, you're up half the night just trying to figure out stuff and learn how to make it work. And I used to get questioned. I don't see how you can stay up all night working on that computer. Now everybody in the house does it. Grandchildren, I want to borrow your phone. And they're good at it. They know how to find what they're looking for. They can't read yet, but they know exactly where their favorite stuff is on YouTube.
You notice that everywhere you go, people have their phone in their hand.
Yeah. You go
They
to somebody's-
cannot do without that phone.
You go to the house where the whole family's sitting there, and they're all sitting on the couch, all sitting there holding their phones, texting each other, not saying a word.
Talking. I don't want to miss this. Don't want to miss this. And we talk about how we miscommunicate. We miscommunicate with one another, and we just don't have the communication skills that we used to have.
Yeah, there's something
because we're
personal
too
missing
busy.
out of that. Yeah.
We're too busy not communicating,
Oh my.
not talking.
Either not communicating or miscommunicating, because sometimes it doesn't come out right. Like if you're using an app that changes your voice to text, and you're talking into your phone, and it's supposed to be texting, you don't always get what you said when you use one of those apps.
Spelling's a little different,
Spelling's different.
But I've learned to read it before I hit send.
Oh, please don't send it without reading it
Because
first, and make sure you make corrections first.
Because the next thing you know, I'm here trying to get this thing straight, and I hit that thing, and I just happen to look and see where, oh, whoops, that wasn't the right word that I needed. So I got to be very careful in making sure that when I'm dealing with that I go back and look. Even when I'm in a hurry, I got to go back and look, because it doesn't pick up your voice like you want it to.
Yeah, and sometimes you've got Grammarly will correct what you're spelling while you're writing it. And that blows me away because I knew I got it wrong, and I go back to fixing it's fixed already. What happened? What's Grammarly? If you're a writer and you need to write legibly and you need to be able to write in such a way that people are going to want to read it, Grammarly helps because it's not going to let you make any goofy mistakes. It doesn't let you make any mistakes where somebody will say, "Wow, was it fourth grade English, huh?" You know?
Is that a part of that stress that we have to go through on a daily basis? Because there it is. It's always right there in our face, and we have to make adjustments. And it didn't come in perfectly, or it has to be exact, and it didn't happen. So next thing you know, it ruined our lives for the next month or so.
I remember being so intrigued by stress, I realized that wow, stress is a great motivator. Probably one of the greatest motivators ever because you're stressed to get something done, especially if it's a computer problem and you got to figure it out yourself.
Well, see,
it's an electronic problem.
There were days in radio where radio was so exact.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, at the top, we might as well tell people what they need to hear. Okay. At the top of the hour, you have to identify the radio station.
You have a 2-minute window in which to do so.
2 minutes before or 2 minutes after, you have to have said WPSL,
Port St. Lucie.
Port St. Lucie.
Say the call letters and city of license.
What happens if you don't do that?
Well, if you're not properly identifying yourself, it's really hard out there to get folks to listen to you if they don't know which station you are.
And the reason that it has to be in that window is because the FCC, the governing body of broadcasting, radio, all that, that's what they listen for.
That's when they'll be listening for that.
And if they don't hear that, there's going to be some trouble.
But there was something else that I didn't know about until I became a program director after I'd moved to Ocala. And when I was in Ocala, I became the program director, and I learned there what's the number one thing the FCC man's going to want to see if he comes and knocks on the door at the radio station and wants to come in and do some kind of inspection. I had to learn that the issues file, the quarterly recording of the issues that were talked about and discussed on the air, on that radio station, in the last quarter. So every quarter you had to have all your issues listed with a little report on each of the boy, oh boy, oh boy.
A lot of paperwork with that, huh?
A lot of paperwork.
A lot of paperwork.
And I could see how people got lost in paperwork, but then, of course, I can also see how they delighted when it all became data for the hard drive.
It helped me when they finally loosened the rules a little bit because I'm nervous all the time. And when that knock at the door, some guy is holding his little badge. I'm with the FCC. I need to.
You guys are real?
Start sweating. But this is Careology. Yeah. Careology is all about the science of caring.
Absolutely.
And we're trusting that you, as a great, fabulous listening audience,
we know you are.
We know that you are, that you care about yourself, that you care about others, and you care about the situations that come daily into your lives. And here's hoping that you have the ability to handle the things that you need to care about. I'm looking at the clock. I have no idea how much time that we have left. I'm just in here talking. And
we're just a little over 4 minutes right now.
A little over 4 minutes. Okay, it all started for me back in June of 15th of 1950. Okay, but having the ability to deal with whatever stress is coming your way, because when you're happy, other people are happy. Never, ever, as best as you possibly can, and this is for Cliff and anybody else that's listening to me, do not let anybody steal your joy.
Right. Happiness is contagious. Catch it and keep it.
Keep it.
Keep it.
Use it. Enjoy yourself with it. Be involved in it.
And spread it.
Spread it.
Yeah, you can do that.
It's like peanut butter, your favorite sandwich with peanut butter and jelly, because what happens is that there are people who are searching because they're unhappy. They're searching, and they see you come along, and you're whistling and enjoying life.
How dare you be so happy all the time?
Yeah,
how can you stand
How can you
it?
do that? Then they'll start asking you questions. Then you get to tell them, well, this is what I do. This is what I do for a living. I don't let people aggravate me. And when I'm in a circumstance where I really don't know a person, I trust that person is going to be someone that I'm going to enjoy getting to know. There's a lot of reasons to be happy.
That's
a lot
right.
of reasons to be happy.
And you know, if you don't have a reason to be happy, make one up.
Make one up.
Embellishment is wonderful.
I'm happy about the shoes that I'm wearing. I'm happy about that I made it through the day. I have many friends that are in the police officers and the sheriff's department, and they say increasingly just being able to make it home from that day.
Yeah, one day at a time.
One day at a time makes a huge difference in the lives of their lives and other people's lives. Are we at that time?
I think we're just about almost at that time. Roxy's going to be very proud of you again.
You want me to start singing?
Well, no.
Okay.
No.
I hear the music.
I won't do it either, although I could rattle some bones.
Okay. Well, this is Marty Michael, and it's a pleasure being a sit-in host for Roxy, and she will be back soon. But I'll see you again next Tuesday. I'm going to let Cliff take you out. Thanks, Cliff.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Careology, brought to you by Carebag. Usually hosted by Roxy, but Mighty Mike did a great job tonight. So, see what you can do for Carebag. Give Carebag, givecarebag.com. Find out what you can do for Careology and Carebag.